I'm often asked, if you had 1 week left in your life to go fishing anywhere in the world, where would you go? It would be a very tough decision, but there's no doubt New Zealand's South Island would be amongst the final few contenders. The town of Methven is not far from Christchurch and is close to the mighty Rakaia River. It's a famous ski resort in winter, but is a quiet rural town in summer. The Rakaia River Valley is enormous and begins almost on the west coast, high in the Southern Alps. To the east of these mountains are a multitude of lowland streams, rivers and spring-fed creeks. Knowing where to fish in New Zealand is relatively easy. Anywhere there's water is a good start. But understanding the subtleties of catching these fish is another matter. Guide Nigel Birt is a master at reading their movements and body language. Certainly feeding hard in there, mate. It's really moving all over the place.
Yeah.
A couple of takes off the top.
Oh,
there's a take off the top.
Yeah, he's left and right and left it and up and down, and he doesn't know what to grab. All we need to do really is just get one of these in front of him. Just be aware of this faster current along our edge. We want to get quite close so we don't get drag on that flow.
Yeah, there is a seam right here, isn't it?
Yeah, so the drag will be the thing that scares him, but otherwise if we can get a good drift, we should grab it. I'm pretty confident with that. Free feeding.
And it's a nice clear open cast.
And we'll be able to watch from here. Good luck, mate.
Thanks, mate. So I should get up about there somewhere.
Yeah, just sneak up in front of this branch here and give it a go.
That was a clumsy cast.
I've noticed he's stiffened up slightly since you went up there too. I think just watch with banging the boulders together. We'll just see what he does. They're pretty attuned to vibrations on the bank, so banging stones together. And
Okay, so
I always like to pretend I'm walking on eggs.
Okay.
We'll just watch him here. There's an element of spook, but he was also freely feeding, so we'll just see if he settles down.
So
Probably time to put a wee nymph on though.
Okay, even this distance from the water.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
wow.
very cautious with how I actually stand on stones and whether I'm banging them together or not.
He's got a nice rock there he's tucked behind. Just saw something you liked. You saw something you didn't like.
He's moved. No, I reckon he's just moving up again.
You put a lot of emphasis on watching the body language of the fish,
Yeah,
Nigel.
you can tell. I've written a few articles, and you would have seen a couple of those in Fly Life in Australia, and about spook levels, and which is basically behaviour and body language, and you can tell different levels of spook. You know, they're aware that something's happened, or they're happy. Basically, the more you interrupt their normal pattern and they sort of see that something unnatural is going on, they'll just reduce their feeding circle, and then they'll do other weird things like the backwards drift.
Yeah, okay.
That's a bad one.
That's
okay.
Do you think that's dropping to see if there's something behind them?
That's exactly it. They're coming down to check you out.
Yeah.
And they're having a look around to suss out what was that I saw a moment ago. I don't know if they think about it.
Yeah.
But
the instinct is to have a look around.
yeah, you can definitely see changes in behaviour, and that's the exciting part of the clarity of our waters and the fact that we sight fish is you can understand trout behaviour.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it really, really exciting.
So what do you look for when you're looking for a happy fish?
One just like this, which all over the pool, freely feeding. He dropped right back here beside us, but was still taking dries.
Yeah.
We just kept still. He snuck back up to his position.
Yeah. You mentioned before that he stiffened up.
Yep.
Is that what you...
Yeah, he just heard you walk up on the rocks. He's stiffened up, so he's not moving side to side.
Okay.
And they go from being quite loose,
Yes.
just to being more like a stick,
Mhm.
and they're just nervous.
Okay.
But what he's done, he's gone back to just being happy now, and he's freely feeding on the surface again, and so he's assessed the situation, and he doesn't think there's any danger. He must know it's you fishing for him, and we're about to prove that wrong, aren't we? Have a
You
go.
get to do much fishing during the season. I'm going to put this right in your hand.
That's why I'm a guide, mate, because we don't have to fish. We just tell people how to fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can stand there and hang shit on them. And
Yeah. That's the one. That's the good one. Okay. I was going to say he's seen that and he doesn't like it.
There's only so many strange flies a trout will tolerate drifting through its field of vision before slinking off, and this one had been very patient. Time to move on. The day was warming and a few fish were beginning to feed, lying out in midstream. What we needed to determine was what they were eating. Seeing them was easy. Catching was another matter.
We might want to re-indicate on this one.
use your natural format.
Don't get excited, but this is pure New Zealand merino.
Yeah, well, I would expect you to carry that. Get the attention on that tag. So, a gink on the wall.
Put a gink on the wall.
Because this doesn't need to float, does it? You've just got to be able to see it. Everyone thinks that a strike indicator has to float, but even if it's 6 inches or a foot under the water, if you see it stop, so long as you can see it to indicate that you've had a take.
Yep, exactly. Well, a lot of people will often strike when it sinks, but there's a difference between floating and stopping and sinking and stopping.
So how much did you give me there?
You got
the fly? About a metre?
About a metre, that's pretty standard.
Okay.
Quite deep in there where he is.
Yeah.
I've just brought on a little bit of wind to assist with your casting.
Yeah.
What looked like a sitter has become a dog.
This thing sitting out in midstream, we have put so many flies over it, and
It still appears to be feeding.
yeah, big dries splotted down on it, tiny nymphs run past it. One reaction, that's all we've had to probably a dozen flies. Nigel's now delving into his box of devil flies. I'm not even game to look at what he's tied on this time. I'm just going to throw it out there and hope. Please don't tell me.
Oh, I won't just cast it and
Just
catch it.
cast and hope.
It's a good cast. Let's try one more.
He did not
He's
move.
a wee dog, isn't he? I'm not going to waste all day on him. That's a great cast.
Oh, geez, he came across for that. Wow, we're getting closer. All right, let me delve into my little box of tricks here.
There's a few in there that I saw that I liked. Some of these.
One of these things, eh?
Them darker green ones.
Yeah.
Try one of those, mate.
You like them?
Yeah, yeah. See if you can get a good cast out there. I know it's challenging, but
Yeah.
you'll be right.
If I concentrate.
It's going to be a perfect drift. Everything was perfect except for the trout's reaction.
Which was nothing. Absolutely nothing. Here we go. Now that'll be a dragon.
Finally the fish spooked, but at least that was a reaction. It was shaping up as a typically tough day on a clear lowland river, and I was going to have to lift my game. Mercifully, the next fish was a cooperative one.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
A warm-up fish.
It's not quite as large as all those other ones, but he took a fly.
Yes, that little green one. That's the one we had. A couple of fish have come up and looked at that, those really difficult ones.
Yep. There we go. We'll just let him go.
Excellent. It's, I think the first fish of any trip, you know, is such a thrill. He sort of lifts your confidence level, particularly coming to New Zealand, you know, where your skill levels need to be up a bit. I've been flailing around in the saltwater for the last few months, and you've got to get your touch back, basically. It's
that was the perfect first cast, and that's often just what you need.
Yeah.
Now we can go and find one of those larger ones like the lower.
And maybe get a perfect first cast on that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You did great. That was exciting. You kept them out of the trees.
Yeah. It was touch and go there. Threaded its way through those branches, and I just managed to force it back in there. Might want to check that tippet. That was right in there.
Bit of the burr there.
Bit of the burr.
We'll do that.
No, still pretty strong.
I'll replace it though. It's got a burr on it.
Okay.
Yep.
Further up.
It's good further
Oh,
up.
good. Okay. Good idea to do that. You know, if a fish gets you into the timber or the rocks, no matter where you're fishing, no matter what you're chasing, check your leader. Check it for a bit of abrasion.
There's some pretty obvious burring on there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
There we go.
That's a nice long tippet, so we've got room to
Trip it back to
cut a
there.
bit off. And don't think a little bit of burring's, oh, I'll get away with that. You know, the next fish could be the fish of a lifetime. Take care with your terminal tackle, the fine detail, the points at the end of it. I put on a fresh tippet because I thought the last one was getting a bit shorter. At around 1 metre long because there's some very tricky drifts in this stream. You warned me about that. You said it was technically a fairly challenging bit of water, and it is. And we've had fish lying on the wrong side of the current, the fly dragging, and they're just not going to eat it. Funnily, they haven't been spooking, but they certainly haven't been eating. But that one, yeah, he didn't hesitate to come up to that. But again, that was a first shot cast,
First
wasn't it?
cast, that's what counts.
That's the one that counts, getting the first one in there.
On the money.
Yeah.
Now we can go and find one of those bigger cousins.
Yep.
Which we've seen a few of. There we go.
Thank you.
We found a fish feeding in a tricky lie against the far bank. This was another one-cast situation, and the 5-weight Sage ZXL rod bent perfectly to the task, delivering the fly with pinpoint accuracy. Then the rough stuff began, keeping this fat and very healthy fish out of the timber. Unrelenting side strain pressure brought to bear through the butt of the rod was the answer. This messed with the fish's ability to get its head going in the direction of the overhanging trees.
Oh, thank goodness for that. That's much bigger than I thought it was.
That is a well-conditioned.
That is a very fat fish. Thanks.
You worked hard for that one,
I
buddy.
worked very hard, yes. It's give no line tactics.
Well, you occasionally dropped it.
As much as I enjoy fishing the lowland streams and rivers, it's in the backcountry of the Southern Alps that the real jewels are found. This is like driving into another dimension of another time, into the remote heart of a completely different world. Heavy rain on the west coast had sent the Rakaia into flood, but Nigel's intimate knowledge of the region still left us with a multitude of clean water options in the tributaries of this mighty river valley. First we fished a colour change, which on any water is always worth a moment of exploration. What's your range of options when the going gets tough?
Yeah, well, today's a great example of that, really. We've got a perfect day weather-wise, but we're just coming out of a storm cycle, and as you can see, we've got a lot of dirty water waiting for our rivers to clear. So what we try and do at this stage is just target little known spots that we've got as guides, little clear edges. This is a great example here. We've got a small amount of fresh water flowing into some dirty water. We've seen a fish in the pool. We know there's one in there. So we're just fishing that junction, and there's a really good foam line out here, some clear water on the left and some murky water on the right. And it's better than staying at home doing nothing.
Absolutely, on
And
a
we've
day
got-
like
and we've got
this.
a day like this, yeah.
And it's challenging too, finding fish.
It is.
When things aren't
Yeah, it's
perfect.
a little bit more
They're
blind
not always
fishing.
perfect,
And
yeah.
we'll see some fish today, and we'll blind fish a little bit, and adds a different element of excitement too, because you just don't know what you're going to get in these conditions.
Yeah.
Just try one a little further over to the right there.
Into the slightly dirtier water.
Slightly dirtier water.
Big dry you put on there too.
We've got a big dry so that they come up out of the murk, and look at that, and we've got a little nymph hanging underneath it.
Okay.
So we're covering our bases.
Right. A hedged bet rig, I've seen it referred to.
That's the one.
Yeah.
There's a fair chance you'll pick up trout sitting in the clear water as well.
We followed the inflow of clean water up into a short section of spring-fed river. Here Nigel hoped to find some fish riding out the flood. We didn't have to walk far before finding some action in the sparkling clear water. We kept well back from the edges and rigged a long leader.
Well, this is alright, a bit of clean water.
In the calm conditions under a deep blue sky, the first pool we came to was pocked with the subtle rises of at least half a dozen big fish. The surface of the water was littered with countless newly emerged and dying mayflies. There were duns and spinners together. It wasn't long before a big snout broke the surface and engulfed my gently drifting size 14 Adams Irresistible. Have you ever seen a mayfly hatch like that here?
No, this is pretty unusual actually.
Yeah, and they've all accumulated along the shore.
So I'll just get my net wet,
Yeah.
and then you can turn them around towards me.
Yeah.
You might take off too.
Yeah.
He's not the fattest fish, but he's a beautiful
long
long fish.
Yeah.
Well done, my friend.
Thank you, mate. That was
That's
great
great.
patience.
And the real exciting thing about what we've found here is we've just got like 6 or 7 fish that have come in out of the dirty water,
Yeah.
and they're just chomping away in here. We can spend all day in this pool if need be.
Yeah.
This is number 1.
Yeah. And the other good thing about it is it swam away from the others and came downstream, and we don't think we've spooked them at all.
Yeah.
This first fish was a lean old buck that had seen better days, but we took our time to revive it and gently sent it back to face the rigours of the river and perhaps yet another spawning season. You would think that with so many insects on the water that fly selection would be straightforward, but once again the fish were being picky. So we suspended a small nymph under a big dry to pick up the cruising fish that with the fluctuating breeze were now only rising sporadically.
Now that's a
Is that rainbow we saw cruising?
That's that faster moving fish.
Yeah,
cruising
the greenback.
around. Yeah.
Amongst fly fishermen, the South Island is most famous worldwide for its brown trout. But I know from experience that it's also an outstanding rainbow trout fishery. These high flyers are a slightly different proposition from the brownies, and often different tactics are required to hook them, and certainly to fight them, particularly as they're so likely to take to the air. Most fly fishermen rate these as a superior fighting fish to the brownies, but that's a point to be discussed around a campfire at night. They're certainly different. You shouldn't be surprised to encounter these in the Rakaia River Basin, and I'm always thrilled to hook up with a rainbow.
Take off when she sees me too. Fish. Well done, Peter. That's a beautiful silver rainbow. Look at that. That is awesome. Look at the quality of that fish.
Moving a lot quicker, cruising.
Bigger cruising pattern.
Yep. Yep. That's a beautiful fish. I want to get some photos of that. That's really special.
Look at the colour. Clean. Hen. Awesome condition. Amazing fight.
Well, it took some work, mate.
We're on it,
But
though.
we finally got the rig together. Quite a few changes, eh?
You're allowed to have a beer for lunch now.
Did you bring some?
Yeah.
Thank God for that. No, that was just great. The wind's coming and going. Very, very clear water, very still water. Sometimes long casts are needed, but Nigel said a long, long leader, and I've got on a 15-foot Rio tapered leader with about another 2 meters of tippet, so we're a long way out there. Because also their cruising pattern, they're zigzagging a lot, and we don't want them to see the fly line. So a lot of separation between the fly and the fly line. Beautiful. And the rig was the standard hedged bet. Because there's a little bit of riffle on the water now, Nigel, incredibly, has gone for a monstrous dry fly, a hopper pattern. He reckons with this riffle on the water there's a very good chance they'll eat it. And then suspended so far underneath, about 18 inches, just a little pheasant tail nymph.
You took it, no?
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm liking this fishing again.
Guide's day out.
Guides day out.
Yeah.
Guides don't normally get to fish.
How many days do you get to fish a year?
Oh, not many.
Not enough.
I get to watch a lot.
Yeah. Watching's not the same as doing though, is
Another
it?
fish following him down too. Shame we haven't got 2 rods.
Yeah.
Look at that, 2 fish together.
Well, I was looking at the other fish.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that was the one that ate your fly. I thought he'd turned and...
A bit of this one.
It's a big brownie, that big girl. Just a carabiner. Oh! That's a beautiful fish.
I was just wondering why my left wrist was getting sore.
That's a beautiful fish.
That's a quality brownie.
That's a quality brownie. Yeah. Boy, that's got some condition. Wow. True professional guides like Nigel don't get to fish nearly often enough, and I was happy to hand him the sage and watch how someone else goes about their fishing. It's a good way to learn something new, and his one cast for one fish was an impressive result. Ready.
Well done, mate.
Oh, nice fish!
Woohoo, thank you very much. I'm loving it.
I betcha.
That's a quality brownie. Look at that.
That is glorious. And we've driven to this spot. I mean, the car's right there.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hey.
Okay, you have it now. Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice. Let me check. Oh, that's beautiful. Just straighten it out. Swing its head around towards me a tad. That's wonderful.
straight for us. He's going back across. Turned around.
Same spot.
Yeah. Bang one upstream of him there now, see how you get on. Good cast, that's right on his line. 3 feet to go. 2.
Turned.
Oh. We're almost getting to a point where we might need a bigger nymph for these.
Right in front of us. This time he hasn't turned. 1,
2.
2.
2. That. Have you got a dry on? Flick it in front of the left
That
fish.
one.
Yeah.
Much higher in the water, eh?
He's moving left now. Good cast. He's heading over to it.
Certainly came up in the water there.
He's coming up.
Oh.
Didn't like that.
Boy, that was a refusal.
This one down here.
We'd estimated there to be at least half a dozen fish swimming around in this first pool of the tributary above the discoloured main river, and we figured we'd encountered all of them. On a day when most of the preferred backcountry options had been unfishable, we'd still been able to enjoy a sensational day of South Island trout fishing.
Good work.
Well done.
Nice, we're slowly working our way through these fish.
Yep.
Excellent.
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's pretty
I
exciting.
missed that take, I was looking at another fish.
Pretty exciting pull.
Yeah. Growler.
Great stuff.
Well done.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Changing rigs, trying all kinds of different things. Got all the time in the world in this crystal clear water to take a look at the fly. Had a lot of rejections, fish swimming up and just turning away. But not coming up to the dry so far, just coming up to the nymph. And Nigel's got just a very short dropper, so we can actually see the fish come up off the bottom. You can see them move up in the water column to get to the dry. It's only 9 inches or so under the, to get to the nymph. It's only 9 inches or so under the dry. And we can see them come up. Spectacular stuff. And we have hardly moved in 5 or 6 hours.